Handheld emulation devices aren't unique, and it seems like a new one comes out every week. And when companies reach out to me asking to review them, I turn them down because there really isn't a lot to say. That is until this one caught my attention for a very unique reason. This is the R36T Max, and while it looks like your typical emulation handheld, what sets it apart from the other ones that I own is that they claim that they can emulate the CRT, not just with shaders, but with the screen itself. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer: I was sent this for free in exchange for a video review, and all thoughts are my own, and the company did not get final say on this video. The R36T has features typical of handhelds in this price range: 4000 milliamp rechargeable battery, Quad Core RK3326 processor clocked at 1.5 GHz, which is capable of running almost every 2D system made before 2000, along with some games from 3D accelerated systems like the Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, and PSP. It'll run some PlayStation games as well, but it's hit or miss. It has 2 joysticks with RGB lighting, Wi-Fi for updates, and head-to-head multiplayer. And the R36T comes preloaded with 18,000 games on a 64GB card and includes a USB-C cable along with a carrying case, and it's all for $80. Oh yeah, and this 4-inch screen that we'll go over in a minute. The system is mostly set up when you first power everything on, which is nice for newcomers, and the front end theme makes it easy to scroll through all the systems and select your games, including search and setting your favorites. The controller button mapping is also set up by default, but I did have to change B and A for the NES core. There isn't a dedicated menu button that works with RetroArch right out of the box, but there are quick menu settings. Select plus Y will take a screenshot, plus A will show the FPS, plus B will pause the core, which is nice for arcade games, and plus X will take you to the RetroArch menu where you can restart the core or change any setting that you wish. And most games run pretty well. The processor is ancient by emulation handheld standards, so God of War for the PSP doesn't really run, and other 3D games like Mario Kart 64, for example, will run but will have some sound issues. I usually play 2D games anyway that are quick to play in the morning after my morning coffee kicks in. So yeah, like I said, I don't really review these handhelds in this class anymore. Kudos to other channels that review each and every one that comes out, but after the POW Kitty I reviewed, I was good. You've seen one, you've seen them all. That is until I saw this screen. It's a 1:1 4-inch 720 by 720 display, which is 255 pixels per inch. Again, not that noteworthy for a handheld in this class, but what it claims to do is emulate the look of a CRT. Now, of course, shaders are a thing, but the thing about real CRTs is that there's a piece of glass between you and the grill, which is what makes a CRT look like a CRT, and this little guy has it. Well, it's not glass, it's plastic, but you can tell from an angle how the light distorts, and that's because there is this little bubble plastic sitting over it, which really complements the shaders that RetroArch is capable of rendering. You do have to dial it in when you first get it, since out of the box everything is set to pixel perfect, but it's not that difficult. I use the preset fake lots, which a lot of people recommend, and at first it looked really weird, like everything was warped, and that's because by default there's an X and Y warp applied. I set them to 0 and it looks really nice, at least on 2D games. The preset on the Nintendo 64 made the banding really obvious, but like I said, you can dial it into your liking, which is one of the best things about emulation today that no one really talks about. In the early days, you were stuck with whatever it was dependent on your monitor, and today you can emulate the exact CRT you had when you were a kid. And this is great since CRTs are getting expensive, and even if you do have one, they're not going to be around forever as components to maintain them are becoming scarce. But how does it compare to another retro gaming handheld in this class without this lens? Could you get the same effect on another one of these retro handhelds? Well, I booted up two, my Anbernic ARC S and 351V, both of which have developed some quirky issues since I last played them. The 351's volume rocker doesn't work, so I had to plug in a 3.5mm dummy club for this video, and the ARC S 256GB card just corrupted and led to some interesting ROM artifacts. They still run well, just maybe when you get these, upgrade the memory card to something a little bit more reputable. So here's three screens side by side without any shaders. I'm running F0 because it's a quick moving game. And here they are with the same shader preset applied, warping removed for consistency. Now, the R36T Max could have been the best handheld. The screen combined with the shaders really gives you the CRT feel, and $80 with enough power to play the best games that benefit from the CRT look sounds like a no-brainer. But the D-pad sucks. Like, it's just plain bad. It's convex, so it bumps out against your thumb, which means that if you move it to any other direction hard enough, you could slip and accidentally move to a different direction, which is really frustrating when you need precise movement. Now, this is something that I could forgive when Nintendo still had the D-pad patent, but in this day and age, there's really no excuse for wing clipping the system like this. And the system feels pretty cheap. Like, yeah, it's $80, but I feel like we could have traded out the RGB joysticks for a better ABS plastic and a D-pad, especially when it can't run any games that would utilize the dual joystick layout. And there's only one SD card slot and a USB-C slot, which isn't that big of a deal, but my other devices have two SD card slots, so you can keep the games separate if one of them happens to die, which happened to me. So yeah, if you're a tech savvy enough person to replace the D-pad with something that you actually want to play on, it's a great experience. But otherwise, unless you're willing to put up with an abhorrent D-pad, I can't really recommend this, which is a bummer because it really does a good job of emulating a CRT. So hopefully they'll come out with another one and fix the issues. As for this one, well, I have a project for this little guy. So that's going to do it for this episode. Give it a like, hype the video, and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.